All right, man, we're going to get this thing cracking. It is the Smark Out Club. We are presented by the Give Us a Shot Network. And NXT TakeOver, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the best matches on the card. If WrestleMania can actually match what I saw, I finished watching it this morning. And, I am AEW's team captain, but I am also a realist. I am the voice of reason. I will give my honest opinion about it. I'll give you my top 5 matches from the pay-per-view, and then I'll talk a little bit about Jericho being on Stone Cold's podcast. But yeah, I watched this coming away with the feeling that this possibly could be NXT's best pay-per-view yet. I think the only one that I remember enjoying this much was the New Orleans takeover, and maybe the Vengeance day one. I think that one was also a good show. The night I want to say night 2 was better. I just think it had better. I think the marquee matches were there, and it had the best match of the night. But they were actually closer than I thought. Usually when they do these things, I know they try to split it up, but one typically, since they started doing these 2-night shows with WWE, with WrestleMania in particular last year, there was always a night that was clearly better than the other. And tonight, this past one, didn't feel that way to me. So, I will say that if it's not the best NXT takeover that they've done, then it's number 2. And the only one that I would have to go back and watch New Orleans because it happened a while ago. But the Vengeance Day one, I thought was thoroughly a great show. NXT, they may be losing a majority of the time to AEW in ratings consistently. But the one thing they've always been better at has been pay-per-views. And they've been better than the main roster as well. So in terms of the matches, I'm just going to go ahead and get right into the top 5. The top 5 matches of the night. The first one, yes, the women's title match. Io Shirai and Raquel Gonzalez. They've done a really good job building up this Raquel Gonzalez. I didn't know anything about her, but I really enjoyed the match. A lot of this is bias for me. I'll go ahead and say it. I love Io Shirai. I think she's awesome. I really hope she stays. I really hope she stays in NXT for a little bit longer. The main roster is going to ruin her. The main roster is, and if this is her send-off to go to Raw or SmackDown, I hope she's booked the way she's supposed to be booked. She's been champion for 300 days. It's very commendable. But to me, her and Gonzalez put on a really good match. I'm very impressed with Gonzalez. They did a good job building her up to be the powerhouse that she is, and she had her big moment, so shout out to her. Next match on the list, Santos and Jordan Devlin. I can't remember Santos's. Sorry about that. Santos's name. He the cruiserweight unification match, which I didn't know that it's been. I mean, they changed the title of the belt. That's how much this match threw me off by surprise. I'm not going to pretend that I know everything NXT, but the cruiserweight being black and gold, silver now, it looks a lot better. The quality of the matches, I know it's been stuck over in the UK for a long time, but it was good. It was a good match, high flying match. Jordan Devlin's awesome. I've always have enjoyed his matches. Santos Escobar, I'm sorry, and then Jordan Devlin. It was a great match where I kind of figured Santos was going to win because Devlin's always in the UK, so it had all the high spots, the moonsaults, all that stuff. That I love the Spanish fly off the ladder. That was dope. It was a good match, and I think a guy like Santos, they need to really capitalize on the momentum they had with this cruiserweight title match. They had his buddies come in and celebrate with him. And what is it? The Legado del Fantasma, his allies that he has. But dope match. And, shout out to them. I didn't know much about any of them, but I really enjoyed that match. One of my favorites. Next on that list, of course, come on, man. Walter, the God Walter, and Tommaso Ciampa put on a wrestling clinic. And I really enjoyed that match. I enjoy Walter. I'm not sure exactly you know, I mean, it might be one of the best matches of the year, and that's why this pay per view overall had the good feel. I mean, one of the best matches of the year. Walter uh, doing a really good job of selling. On the last episode of this of the Smark Out Club, I talked about selling and people not being able to sell. NXT, the talent that comes through here, uh, knows how to do it properly. I don't know what the disconnect is when they go up to the main roster, but they do a really good job. Walter's chops, top tier. It goes right up there. With the rest of them. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that overall. Number two, Finn Balor carrying Cross. I mean, Finn Balor is one of my favorites. He that title match was awesome. Carrying Cross. This is. I mean, I kind of figured he was going to win. This was more of a. Um, basically he was injured, and that's why he lost the title in the first place. But Karrion Cross is a great worker. Finn Balor is one of the best in WWE. And I will go out on a limb and say this is probably the best match that Karrion Cross has had on NXT. Balor was 16-1 or something crazy in takeovers, uh, and now this. I don't know what this means. If Balor's going to go back to the main roster, I know that's like if you lose if you lose a main event or whatever, a championship, that means you're destined for main roster spot. I don't know if that's true, but I will say that Karrion Cross should have gotten the title. They've been building this guy up. His last reign was cut short, so this is more of a thing, writing of a passage. So, and of course, number one, you knew what it was going to be. It's not popping up for me. It is the Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole match. Now, not a big fan of the multiple kickouts. I'll be honest with you, but a story like this, it works. It works for what they're trying to accomplish, and so yeah, Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. They told a good. I am not a fan of them breaking up the Undisputed Era, but they. I don't. Here's the other thing they messed up on. Thank God the match was as awesome as it was because it makes everybody forget about their awful theme music. Um, you know, his new gear. It really hit home that wow, they broke up the Undisputed Era. I mean, he did all his mannerisms that he did when he was with Undisputed Era, but you know, the match itself felt real. This is a build-up. This is exactly what main roster and a lot of these feuds have been missing. Like there was like some real personal stakes here, and it wasn't for a title. It wasn't for anything other than a good story being told. And I think WWE should take this as a lesson for the future. I mean, that's how you build a big match. Like, I mean, if this was main roster WrestleMania, this reminded me of Austin and The Rock. It really did in terms of it felt unreal. It felt unreal to me. I love the fact that they had the fans chanting "Fight Forever." I mean, it was a long match. I could see people getting tired of it because it was match, but it was fantastic. If it wasn't a 5-star match, damn near close. I would give it a 5-star match, but I think that with what's the future now? What's next? Bobby Fish. I don't know what the future is, to be honest with you. They did even the storytelling of putting Adam Cole on a stretcher was fantastic. Medical ring, Kyle O'Reilly just standing there, barely able to stand. Watching the destruction that he inflicted. If yeah, so fantastic match, 5 stars. If you want to knock it for being long, I don't think it could have been shorter, but whatever. I enjoy these two working, and that's that. So shout out to Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. So there's no way that WrestleMania is going to top this, and it's simply because none of these matches on the WrestleMania card are remotely interesting. They're either too predictable or I don't care enough about it because WWE seem not to go out of their way to make you care about it. Nobody cares about Braun Strowman. Nobody cares about Bad Bunny. The Daniel Bryan, Edge, Roman Reigns thing. I mean, it's not. It's sloppy. It's a sloppy build. Daniel Bryan seems to just be thrown in there for the sake of putting a big name in there. I think they botched this entire Edge run. The Fiend and Randy Orton, I don't really care about, even though I enjoy both wrestlers. Their story has been, it's done. It's been done. And Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre. Ever since they got rid of the Hurt Business, the writing's been on the wall for me. Bobby Lashley's destined to lose this thing. If he wins, I'll be surprised, but I just don't, the talent isn't there, man. The talent isn't deep right now on this card. Like and it's not the wrestling ability. You know, we think of a Seth Rollins, and I just talked about this on the last pod. Seth Rollins and Cesaro should have a fantastic match in the ring, but I don't care about it. I'm not invested in it. I'm not invested in it like I was with Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. So there's not there. I mean, there's nothing WWE could do for me that would top what NXT has done. So NXT, little brother, once again coming in, taking big brother stuff and outshining them and doing what they do best. NXT does a really good job with character development. Something that for some reason gets dropped on the main roster. They just, and it's Vince, man. He just changes his mind too much. He doesn't let things play out. He doesn't let talent find their voice. He doesn't let feuds run their course, and they either go way too long, like the Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio thing, like the Randy Orton or Fiend thing, or he cuts it too short, like the Hurt Business. It's a weird, you know. Drew should have been facing Sheamus at this WrestleMania. That could have been, you know, that's the perfect parallel to Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. They could have told a real story that could have built Drew up, but they're going to throw the title back on him after a short turnaround with Bobby Lashley. It's not fair. It's not right. But you know, that's what they decided to do. So, last thing I want to talk about real quick. I told you this would be a quick pod. This was just to get the NXT thing out the way. But Chris Jericho did appear on Stone Cold's podcast. I thought it was dope. A lot of people are reading into that Vince doesn't care about AEW. I don't look at it like that. I disagree with that. I'm sure he doesn't. He doesn't even care about his own product. So I'm pretty sure he doesn't care about AEW. Even though NXT was forced to move nights. So read into that what you will. But Jericho didn't really burn a bridge leaving WWE. I think that's the only reason this happened. I think McMahon likes Jericho, just like he likes Big Show. I don't think there's any ill will. I think these guys have put in enough work for Vince McMahon, made Vince McMahon a lot of money, made a lot of history for the WWE. I think this was just Vince McMahon doing Stone Cold, who does, and WWE and Vince don't own Stone Cold's podcast, so I don't think he can tell them who to have and who not to have anyway. I think Stone Cold was just kind of giving them a heads up, like, hey, man, you cool with this? And Vince said yes, and I think that was really just respect for Jericho. I think they have a good relationship. Jericho said they had a good relationship. I don't think, any other AEW talent was going to make it on there, but, that's been in WWE before. I don't know if John Moxley can come on that show. He just wasn't there long enough, and he's not Jericho. He doesn't have a legacy like Jericho does in wrestling and in WWE. So, but it was a very interesting interview. Apparently, it was Jericho's idea. I really hope now that the key will be if Austin is allowed to do Jericho's podcast, which I think Jericho hinted that he's trying to make happen. If that happens, that's the true forbidden door. I know Tony Khan is saying, hey, we open the forbidden door where promotions can work with each other to help, because WWE is stuck in this it's us and only us thing. But the world is so much bigger than it was in the 90s and the early 2000s that, and wrestling as a whole is just dying. It's not as popular as it used to be, based on ratings, based on attendance, based on a bunch of other things. But so what you got to do is you have to open the universe. So, you see this in movies, like the whole whole trend is the shared universe. WWE might want to start considering that. I know I don't think it's a problem. I don't expect Roman Reigns to show up on AEW, but why not send an Apollo Crews or an Aleister Black or a Ricochet to work with New Japan? I know they do that with Evolve, but they have like a direct partnership with WWE. Like, why not work out some things to give some of these dream matches? There's enough money, there's enough viewership, there's enough opportunity out there to make it work for everybody. So Vince McMahon probably won't do that. So we'll probably wait for him to croak. And then when Triple H, the smarter wrestler mind, comes into play, he might be able to do something with that. So we'll count down the days until Vince kicks the bucket, and then wrestling and WWE will finally get with the times and do the right thing and modernize and not do stupid things like destroy the Hurt Business. So that's it for this episode. Like I said, a quick episode. I'm going to do Morton's Law podcast Sunday night after night 2 of WrestleMania, and then following Monday, the big Raw after Mania, there will be another live Smark Out Club. So if you want to join me, hit me up. We'll plan it out. All right. So until then, I'll check you guys out next time.